Milk isn't just a nutritional powerhouse. It could also play a key role in tackling global food security. Every single day, around 500 million gallons of milk are consumed worldwide, all thanks to the efforts of 270 million dairy cows. To keep up with this massive demand, factories rely on some truly mind-blowing technology, including a machine that can turn liquid milk into dry powder. But how exactly do we produce and package millions of pounds of powdered milk every single day? Well, buckle up. Today, we're taking you inside the factory to uncover the full process behind this convenient, nutrient-packed food. Powdered milk is basically regular milk that's had most of its water removed, turning it into a dry form that's way easier to store and transport, especially since it doesn't need to be refrigerated. Thanks to this process, milk can last a lot longer without losing its nutritional value. The idea of drying milk to make powder actually dates all the way back to 1802, when a Russian scientist and chemist named Osip Krishevsky came up with this technique. At first, powdered milk was mainly used by the military because it was super convenient and could be stored for long periods, even in tough conditions. By the early 1900s, it started showing up as an everyday essential in rural areas, where getting fresh milk regularly was still a luxury. Each year, the United States produces over 21 billion gallons of milk. That's roughly 23 gallons for every single person. Nearly all of that milk comes from around 60,000 dairy farms spread across the country, home to more than 10 million cows bred specifically for milk production. A single dairy cow can chow down on up to 100 pounds of food a day, a mix of hay, fresh grass, and grains fortified with minerals and protein-rich ingredients like soybeans. And when the weather heats up, these cows can drink as much water as you'd need to fill a bathtub. On average, a cow spends about 8 hours a day eating and drinks around 80 gallons of water, all to produce about 10 gallons of milk. Every day of the week, no breaks. Milk is packed with nutrients and made up of about 87% water. But here's the thing. Cows only produce milk after giving birth. Calves are allowed to nurse for just a few days before being moved to a separate area, while the mother continues producing around 9 gallons of milk per day for the next 10 to 12 months. And all that milk, it's harvested for human consumption. These days, high-tech dairy farms can feed and milk cows almost entirely automatically, with little human involvement. Advances in milking technology have revolutionized the industry, with machines that mimic the gentle motion of hand milking. Special suction cups are carefully attached to the cow's udder, applying just the right pressure to extract milk comfortably and efficiently. Thanks to this, productivity has skyrocketed. A single farmer can now milk up to 100 cows per hour, compared to just 6 back in the day. That said, in the first few days after a cow gives birth, when the milk is thicker and richer in nutrients, skilled human hands are still the gold standard. It's this powerful combo of modern tech and traditional know-how that's driving both the quality and quantity of milk to new heights. That efficiency goes up even more when farms use smart milking parlors, high-tech spaces designed to optimize the entire milking process. With an automated carousel system, up to 80 cows can be guided into position at once, getting milked twice a day. The layout is designed to feel familiar and comfortable because dairy cows are surprisingly sensitive animals that thrive on routine and calm environments. So what makes these smart milking parlors stand out? Well, they can increase milk flow speed by up to 30% compared to traditional systems. Before milking starts, workers gently clean the cow's teats using an iodine-based disinfectant. This not only keeps things hygienic, but it also mimics the natural suckling of a calf, which helps stimulate milk letdown. Each suction cup in the system delivers a steady rhythm of soft pulses, combining gentle vacuum pressure with a light massage motion. This simulates a natural flow and helps milk release more effectively and comfortably. Modern milking machines are quiet and calibrated just right, maximizing yield without causing stress to the animal. In fact, double-sided milking units can produce nearly twice as much as hand milking. The whole process takes only about 9 minutes, and once it's done, the machine automatically detaches, ensuring the cow stays comfortable while keeping the milking routine safe, smooth, and super efficient. As the milk begins to flow into the collection tank, a vacuum pump kicks in, pulling the milk through a series of tubes and into the main storage tank. Right away, a high-tech analyzer gets to work, checking the quality of the milk in real time. If it detects anything off, like if the temperature's too high or there are signs of contamination, such as traces of blood, the system automatically rejects that batch to ensure food safety. Milk that passes the test is stored in large tanks and quickly sent to a cooling zone, where it's chilled to a steady 37 degrees Fahrenheit, about the same temperature as your home fridge, to keep it as fresh as possible. Here's something cool. It takes over 2 gallons of fresh milk to produce just 1 pound of powdered milk. Before it moves on to the next processing stage, the raw milk is temporarily held in stainless steel tanks. Keeping it cold at this point is absolutely critical. It helps maintain milk quality and slows down bacterial growth. After all, the milk is still raw and has a short shelf life at this stage. Once each milking session wraps up, the entire system goes through an automatic cleaning cycle. It removes any leftover residue and waste from the process, making sure everything is spotless, safe, and ready for the next round. Before milk can make its way from the farm to the processing plant, every single tanker truck has to be thoroughly cleaned. No shortcuts. That's because milk is incredibly sensitive to contamination. The trucks used for transport are specially designed with built-in cooling systems that keep the milk at the perfect temperature the entire trip, ensuring it stays fresh from start to finish. Every day, around 160,000 gallons of milk are delivered from nearby farms to the factory. When a tanker arrives, the first thing on the checklist is verifying that the milk stayed properly chilled during transport. Then, technicians take samples from each truck to test for fat content and screen for any leftover additives that might have come from the farming process. Only the batches that pass these strict quality and safety checks are allowed into the next stage, getting pumped into the plant's massive storage silos. These towering tanks look like something out of a sci-fi movie. 12 of them in total, holding up to 740,000 gallons of milk combined. That's enough milk to fill about 20 million bowls of cereal. These tanks serve as the temporary home for all that raw, farm-fresh milk before it moves on to the next step in the journey. Raw milk naturally contains more fat than most consumers prefer, so the very first step in processing is separating out the fat. See, raw milk is actually a mix of suspended solids, like fat, protein, and minerals. To break those apart, the milk gets sent through a high-powered centrifuge, a machine that can process over 6,000 gallons per hour. Inside the centrifuge, cone-shaped discs spin at an incredible speed, up to 7,000 revolutions per minute. This creates intense centrifugal force that pushes the heavier skim milk outward, while the lighter cream collects in the center. The result? Skim milk, the base for making low-fat powdered milk, which is super popular thanks to its long shelf life and low-fat content. Next, the skim milk is stored in large holding tanks, ready for the next big step, pasteurization. But before that happens, there's one more important upgrade. To boost its nutritional value and better match consumer needs, vitamins and minerals are added to the milk. Depending on the final product, whether it's milk for kids, seniors, or people on a low-fat diet, the blend of added nutrients is carefully tailored for each group. Next up, pasteurization. The process that makes milk safe to drink by killing off harmful bacteria and microorganisms. This is done by quickly heating the milk to about 160 degrees Fahrenheit and holding it there for just under 40 seconds. That short burst of heat wipes out 99% of bacteria without messing with the milk's nutritional value. Right after that, the milk is rapidly cooled down to lock in freshness and preserve the effects of the heat treatment. Thanks to pasteurization, the milk can now be stored at room temperature. No fridge needed until the seal is broken, which seriously extends its shelf life. Once pasteurized, the milk moves on to the next stage, concentration. This step removes a large portion of the water to get the milk to the desired thickness. The milk is pumped into a special evaporator system that works under vacuum and at low temperatures to preserve the natural flavor. This method removes at least 80% of the moisture using heat in a highly controlled environment. Inside the evaporator are tall towers called calandrias. Milk enters from the top and flows down through a maze of small stainless steel tubes. As steam surrounds these tubes, it gently heats the milk as it moves downward, gradually evaporating the water content. At the bottom, the remaining steam and concentrated milk are separated. Steam rises up, while the thicker milk is pumped into the next calandria for further concentration. Once the milk is concentrated, it's sprayed into a giant drying tower at high pressure and blasted with hot air at around 420 degrees Fahrenheit. This step is called spray drying, and it's where the magic really happens. The milk is atomized into tiny droplets and shot into the scorching air. The water inside evaporates almost instantly, leaving behind fine, fluffy milk powder that falls to the bottom of the tower. What you're left with is dry, airy, and super easy to mix powdered milk, ready to be packaged and shipped around the world. But even after all that evaporation, the mixture still holds on to some moisture. To make sure the final product doesn't clump up and has a long shelf life, the next step is complete drying. This final drying phase removes any remaining moisture, leaving behind pure milk powder. It's then cooled and carefully stored. Once the milk is fully dried, it heads to the blending tanks. This is where things like vitamins, calcium flavorings, and anti-caking agents are added. If the goal is to make the powder easy to dissolve in water, a bit of soy lecithin is mixed in too. The tanks rotate to evenly blend everything together, ensuring a smooth, consistent mix that's ready for the final packaging phase. After drying and mixing are complete, the powdered milk is packed into specialized containers, usually airtight cans designed to block out moisture and protect against contamination. This step is critical for preserving quality and extending shelf life. On the automated packaging line, each can is filled with precision, sealed airtight, and checked to make sure it meets the highest standards. And just like that, the powdered milk is ready to hit store shelves and travel around the world.